Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York, Episode 3. We met with an acquaintance, Benoit, from Coteries of New York. Welcome, I'm King Priam by night and we're playing Julia de la Sombra. Let's see what kind of secrets Benoit will tell us. Again with his insufferable sermonizing. Benoit Segal here is a local nut job and an ex-artist, a degenerate who had some sort of complex mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took to religion for solace and guidance. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his own life to studying Nodism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As luck would have it, his neophyte zeal found a major target in me. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and still identified as such. Somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of force for change within the Camarilla, and set out to put me back on the righteous path. Now, he won't stop preaching to me apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest place is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have this unfortunate predisposition to find salvations right within your grasp, and then lose your way in the shadows. Christ, once it starts it just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I was meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change the subject, you know? Rude. I'm just looking for a topic both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guide on etiquette said you should. Salvation is a topic close to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not, and it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I do not assume. I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Jesus era, can you? And start acting like Jesus is king era, can you? Coincidence? I never had the Jesus era. Do people really call it that? Here's how it's going to work. Tell me what you know and I'll tell you what to say. And keep in mind, I don't know she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces a bit at me saying hell, but lets it go. Sure, I figure you would have prodded that wound long ago if you knew. But why do you care anyway? Better to let you drone on about your tormented past than let you carry on with your good missionary shit. Professional curiosity, once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales in a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then, I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York kindred's beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met sometime after World War II. I left France right before the Nazis went around the Maginot Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during the flu epidemic of '43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. She said the sheer torment in my works caught her eye. She became a patron. Allowed my talent to flourish and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interest started to naturally deviate from what they used to be back when I was a poor mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does. And that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being a fun novelty, I became just another part of the malaise surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I had my share of meltdowns because of it, I won't deny that. I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. If they take interest in you, they won't stop until they suck your soul dry, then discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've known him, Sigler registers to me as something other than a Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible he's strategically trying to elicit sympathy. Maybe he heard about my dramatic exit from Lodestar, or maybe he just alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It is only God who will never lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julia. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. There's the Benoit Siegel I know. Almost had me fooled. Let's get back on track. What about Langley's disappearance from the city? Her path was on road of perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she's too happy about it. She had plans for the future of this city. Want to make it her ultimate artwork. She always the vain one. And of course, you're completely sure you have nothing to do with her disappearance? Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you've been acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. And you got a motive. Of course I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Benoit shakes his head. You really have the devil in your heart, Julia, always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in this city. Those aren't exactly compatible with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer, huh? Now that's interesting. I haven't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hand over his forehead and collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in this completely unpleasant way. Here's a statement if you really want one, Miss Hercule Poirot. I do believe Sophie, the way I knew her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking this earth, she wouldn't come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She'd have to undergo a spiritual rebirth. Son has reminded her of her place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed voices. Even that servant playtale of her went missing. No more Camarilla parties. She's done for. Whatever happened to her, I don't know. I swear in Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here, and she's not. And it's not a reason to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine all the unfortunate ways I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, recommitted to preaching His greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, when I think of Langley's influence on my life, I am grateful, because she was a sign that got me here. And, if God wills it, maybe one day you'll look at her the same way, Julia. Mental note, whenever he circles back to this preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it's make you feel any better, I think that's the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her was by boring her to death with Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo, tit for tat. You're saying people still talks about me? I was curious if... Oh look, who's finally here? Stalling for time worked, Father Leonard rushing in our direction, carrying a folder of documents under his arms. I assume it's the one I came here for. Father Leonard. Christ be praised, Julia. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen. Actually, I think we said each other's lines. Never mind, another long night? Isn't it taking a toll on you? No need to worry. These days I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. There is always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Benoit went for each other's throats. Good, I was getting worried. Oh, why do you take me for, father? It takes you for a total bozo who's about as effective at converting people as a documentary about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. You're just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch! Hear what I have to deal with, father. But don't worry, I'll make a saint out of her yet. Forget saint for now. I settled for an adult in the room. I love that bantering. He's 70-year-old, and that's what you are here for. Passive-aggressive match. Let's go with this one. It sounds the most fun. Passive-aggressive match. Excuse me? Asking for an adult in the room is not solving a problem. It's abdicating responsibility. Julia, you know exactly what I mean, so please don't get smart with me. They don't sound like my mother, maybe. An adult in the room, Julia. I'm asking for here. He gives me a folder he was carrying with him, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier tonight. Among kindred, it's common knowledge that the Catholic Church is one of the La Sombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenge of communicating in the 21st century. Hard to handle advice, encryption, when you can't even unlock a smartphone. This is where the Vatican connection entered the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchange our dispatches between each other, making sure they all reach their destination in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in the Holy See is friendly to our kind, but most shrewd and talented usually are. You could say they like a mortal Camarilla better than any intelligence agency. Remember what happened to John Paul when he attempted to uncover the works of the Institute for the Work of Religion? Death after 33 days of papacy, rumors of CIA Masonic involvement. Not that Father Leonard has anything to do with any of this. For the Catholic priest, he's all right. He'd probably have made me stay a believer for years longer than I did, had I known him as a teenager. Leonard is intelligent, kind, helpful toward his parishioners, treats his superiors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved in any sort of political church games. Well, at least not beyond helping me contact my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about the kindred, and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's going to be something wrong with him. Some selfish motivation, maybe. I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking how your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. A priest of Saint Stanislaus Kostak is a good friend. He says your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father is looking better and better. It makes me feel nothing, but I still gave him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Yes, be careful, and God bless. Amen. Goodbye, Julia. I'll let you off the hook this time. But next time, you won't be so lucky, alright? Sure, just one more thing on my never-ending list of events I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I am home. Finally, you doing alright? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you sleeping? I figure it's final time for me to become more of a night owl. We talked about making our schedule sync better. Watch your vitamin D. I'd kill to have your skin. Would be ashamed to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you got bitten, sweetheart. You shouldn't have shared your skincare routine with me back when I was still breathing. I can't just be going around sharing my one secret weapon. It's topic secret stuff. MK ultra level, Jeffrey Epstein current whereabout level. I have to kill you if I told you. Real nice, real nice. Okay, so this is Dakota. Dying sounds good. I have a secret weapon too. I love you too, hon. Well, let's do the secret weapon. Fair, my can also has a secret anti-aging weapon, after all. But hey, if you don't care about that... Psh, what would that be? Adrenochrome? Close, spirit cooking. Just so we're clear, you're shitting me, right? Of course I'm shitting you. We just drink blood. Nothing too satanic about it. Funny, because when I see your chest, I'm surprised no cross-shaped burn marks there. Well, since you mention it, Never mind, I feel a little more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. No need? Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, and most all-around amazing person I know. They'd be insane not put you on the short list. Believe it or not, most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane, because that's how crazy they have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I would say so. Fuck them then. A big bunch of push dicks. They hate you cause they ain't you. But they'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much of this weird, stupid positivity that I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer is easy. You remember how I told you we were have this spiritual connection? I can sense what you feel and want. I can sense what I feel too. No, you can sense what I feel too if you really focus. Yeah, I think it's called a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts, but watch this. Agent Scully. I sense you feeling down and I realize what you really need to end this night. She points to one of the drawers. It's one where she keeps her supply of... ketamine? Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. We're not meeting demons. We're meeting angels. MDMA? Ding, ding, ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing. Thanks to our spiritual connection. Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go. Prepared specifically to uplift one Julia Sawinski. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why you love me, I hope. I give up. Come here, let me have a taste of you. Maybe this one time the high won't end. And a new night begins after some rest. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always felt a little nervous when I spent too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah yes, only one thing. Don't show up for the part at the Heart Hole. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around Sid and see what's up. Maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. So, breaking the habit. I need to break out of this mood. Go somewhere I never visit. See something I tend to avoid. Think, Julia. What is the least you place to go and live a little? A walk in the park. In life, I wasn't especially fond of parks. Now, as one of the kindred, I can finally see the appeal. Past midnight, they become a surprisingly good hunting ground. Yeah, I think we go with the park and some blood. I think that's the good choice. Van Cortlandt Park. Funny, I never knew how much I could miss nature until I got stuck in this urban jungle for good. The sight of familiar green surroundings slowly flooding my mind with disjointed images, back from when I just moved to New York City. I was still in awe of it. Let's maybe do a reminisce. I close my eyes, allow myself to drown in the stream of memories. An elder couple holding their frail hands in the warmth of the morning sun. An evening gatherer of self-importance academics, fervently discussing discoveries no one but them cares about. A bunch of kids chasing an imaginary treasure, joyful, restless, and oblivious to the dangers of a summer's heat wave. A young, perfectly chiseled jogger running along the golf course, 100% graceful in every move he makes, mesmerizing. My eye snaps open, and the spinning kaleidoscope of images fades away. I collect my focus and remember what brought me here. A burning heat reaches my finger. I flick the butt away and immediately take another cigarette out of the pack before proceeding through the parade ground. The faint sound of shoes tapping against the concrete interrupts my contemplative mood. Just what I was hoping for. I hurried to finish my smoke and take a step back, bleeding in with the shadows. A lonely jogger runs into and out of the pale lamplights, completely lost in his thoughts, all dressed up in top-shelf sportswear, very muscles clearly visible under the skin-tight outfit, and his exposed neck. I get the urge back under control for now. Back when I was alive, I rely on the breathe-in, breathe-out exercise. However, nowadays, breathing costs a premium. Just as I regain my composure, the jogger stops by the flickering lantern and takes a glance at his smartphone. His body tenses noticeably as he answers a call. Moving in on him right now would, of course, inevitably involve the caller hearing the assault happen. No reason to make things complicated. I'll take my time. I cautiously get closer and closer until I can finally overhear his words. Should expect the bad news, I know, but Jesus, Tasha, he's 9. He struggles and fails to sound calm. No, she doesn't know yet. I'll tell her when I get home. I need to think this through. I notice a lanyard, half stuck in a pocket, with the Bronx Times logo slapped on it. They say there's no cure. Yeah, I heard something about experimental treatment in Rochester, but I can't make this decision on my own. I connect the dots, realized what she's talking about, and feel like I was punched right in the guts. Listen, I need to clear my head. Tell Johnny I need a couple of days off. If he starts throwing a fit again, tell him he'd better learn to write a fucking column of his own. No, seriously. Thanks, Tasha. Yes, I gave him a kiss from his auntie. The moment he hangs up, his composure goes out the window. He basically stumbles to the nearest bench. God damn it! His faint sobbing stops me in my track. I lose my appetite. Feeding on this guy would feel nauseating anyway. Just when I convinced myself that I should let basic decency take the reins, he noticed me creeping around. He gives me a startled glance, eye damp, looking absolutely miserable. Busted. Oh, so what do you say to a guy you were just about to assault in the dark park, but thought better of it? I'm lost, can you help? Are you a journalist? It's going to be fine. Let's go with this option. I think it may be a Lodestar colleague or a new guy at Lodestar. Let's find out. Hey, he absentmindedly wipes away the tears of his cheeks. Do you by any chance write for Bronx Times? His short but genuine grin catches me off guard. He didn't expect to be recognized, definitely not by some random girl in the middle of the night. Yeah, how do you know? You don't strike me as a baseball fan? So he's a sport columnist. I put the fakest smile on my face. Time to lie out of my ass. Well, you got that right. I'm a reporter too. I think I saw you once when I visited John in his office. You work with him, right? Yeah, you might say that. His inner struggle seems pretty clear. Truth be told, I write most of his things as well. Bingo! For real? That lazy bum will never change. If he wasn't such an ass kisser, he'd be out of his comfy seat in no time. Sheesh. It's like you read my mind. Yeah, anyway, don't let me stop you. Keep up the good work. You deserve better. You think so? Glad to hear it. Still, I don't mean to impose, but it's late. This place is not exactly... Yeah, don't worry about me. Someone is picking me up a few minutes away from here. See you around. For sure. Oh, and thank you. I notice a change in his melancholic face. He stands up with his back straight, like he regains some of his lost resolve. He nods and starts running towards the back of his problems. I start walking the opposite direction. Even though I might regret this show abstinence later, what little remains of my humanity inside my shriveled heart encouraged me to think that letting this guy go was the right thing to do. I'll need a change of scenery to break out of this mood, an opportunity to actually get some juice into my veins, relatively guilty-free if possible. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to Big Beat Burger, into the last fast food joint I ever know. I'll have the usual. The first time I used this line, I wasn't sure it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier just smiles, nods, and charges me for one black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies. See that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably wouldn't take a single sip in if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. But at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimize human contact. But touch screens doesn't exactly like me. Not too long ago, I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Ah well. The good news is, it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. Bad news is, it's because every kinder who matters is having fun at the art hall right now. It's not like I wanted to go, I just wanted them to invite me so that I could tell them to fuck off. I scanned the entrance to a restaurant through my peripheral vision. I naively hoping someone will come and save me from misery? Yes, I am. Please, 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 let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince. A princess. A knight in shining armor. A fairy godmother. A passing huntsman. Big Bad Wolf. Mila Jovovich. Vin Diesel. Celia Banks. Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you eternally stuck being a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant with little Julia, on life as a bitch, and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years and therefore contains no amusing dragged-out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back to looking at the entrance. That part must be stuffy and trashy and boring. Oh, that party must be stuffy, trashy, and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation. I'm asking for amusement. But it doesn't come. And I get boring bozos in non-core clothes. They walk in, take care of their business without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes after I lose all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatiently, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me, and says, "There you are. Hi, Kadir." Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here. Let's go with Vin Diesel is not a book character, and he may be going to react with this one. Looks like my prayer were answered. Vin goddamn Diesel is here, ready to take me away from this dreadful place in his shiny Dodge Charger. Is Michelle Rodriguez in trouble again? Have you made up with The Rock? Will you get justice for Han? Are we going to a race? Would you teach me how to live my life a quarter mile at a time? My dumb attempt at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eye. He just stares me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I won't ask what, but whenever he's in this I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say mood. I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to the car. Just hope I haven't messed anything up again. I don't think I have, but have I? Kadir's car, as usual, he gave me the back seat. He's always uneasy with the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally, he catches him observing me in the rearview mirror, but this time he's watching the streets. More tense than usual. Something must have caught me off guard. I got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? An awkward silence. Feels like it will last forever. Eventually, he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parlay with the Anarchs in the docks, remember? Yeah, and you made me tag along so that I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics means something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at a wedding party. There was this man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader. White hair, a monocle, musty clothes. With this fucking Paula cunt. Scrooge McDuck, yeah, how could I forget? A lot of panache, old-timely bravado, and gendered insult flung my way. What was his name? Something British made me think of Hollywood. Callahan? Baron Callahan, Douglas Boss Callahan. Right, it's 2020, but the man's opinion and ideas were stuck in the 1920s. Weren't an Anarch supposed to be the progressive option? I never understood why they put up with him. He has his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Anytime Camarilla or the SI hits the Anarch, it was the faction opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastards in the world. Though you thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't, but it sure looked like his luck finally ran out of tonight. Eh? Wait, don't tell me. We're going to kill him. He's dead, and Arn's got rid of him. We're going to kill him. That's a really interesting choice. Yeah. So what you're saying? We're heading to his office to kill him? What? Just what? No, absolutely not. Looks like I missed the mark by a mile. Even if that's a big if, an idea like this wasn't completely opposed to everything Prince Panar had been doing over the past few years. His tone sounds like he was addressing a particular dumb child. The worst part is I probably deserved it. There wouldn't be any need for that. The man has ceased to exist. Wait, he's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met his final death. How do you know? We got trustworthy sources in our inner circle. Looks like all hell is about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hole. Jesus, and you bring me with you? Why? Because you were on the way, because I could, because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I can't justify sneaking you into the party claiming it's for your own protection. As always, my very own Vin Diesel takes care of his familia. Wait a minute though, the party is still happening? I called the prince, told her the best course of action is stopping it, and started listing security because I have prepared for these sorts of situations. She interrupted me halfway though, told me we will discuss the subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party is that important, eh? Politics is that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sound an awful lot like a bunch of party-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't the kind of, how should I call it, governing issue the likes of you and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Shoveling ourselves out of shit. As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cussing, or for being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off towards the unknown. I'm not a New York City Baron, the Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, a memory of an old douchebag who thought he could rule the world crossed my mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am, at the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight, the art hole. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively, even if they known it's an emergency. They simply didn't care. Sorry, I had to sit up a bit. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea, do I? I think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, whelp. And here I am, among party elites. It's as tough and boring as I expected. But hey, at least it's exclusive. The title Pan had come up with for these yearly gatherings is called Celebrations of Power. An invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces they inhabit. The week-long event is packed as a sort of performance art piece, meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. We need to counter-program the omnipresence image of tragic vampirism with images that remind us we have inherited Earth and are now free to remake it in our image, is the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organized a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and business meetings are the most important. My prince. Kadir, finally. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. I take a good look around. Half the figures here are dressed like they're attending a masked ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Pan based it on psychomagic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of arts. Simply put it, it's a holy mass and a holy mass in equal measure. A set of ritual meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accepted they're both the worst and the best this earth has to offer. Put on the mask at the very least. You're standing out. Here. I heard the aesthetic basic for this part is the black mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Some think this decision means Panner is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. She knows the Onyx are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art rhetorics that would point out glaring contradiction in her theoretical benevolent rule. But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elite, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Streisand effect, she effectively defangs the position. The resistance become a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and Onyx get the same message. Don't think of it as pathology. Think of it as the new normal. I'll collect the key advisors. They've already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold a meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over here. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Savinsky I see behind you? Good evening, I'm afraid so. Let Kadir talk. Yeah, I will do that one. I nudge Kadir to take over. I collected her on my way here because of her role as a La Sombra representative. I just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's going to happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might become a target and decided to hide her here in the art hole. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Let her stay with you for now, Al-Asmai. Time is of the essence. I didn't notice him sneaking up on us. Nice getup. Are you absolutely sure? But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Bernard has already come up with the appropriate messaging. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl towards the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Alsma. All of the appropriate security protocols for you all already active. Me and the prince has already pulled some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Mostly under control, never let anyone sleep any easier. Al-Asmai, I know that as the prince's sword you're aching for blood, but you have to accept that, like most weapons known to men, you're most effective hidden in the sheet. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard? All of a sudden, Samira appears between the two men, her calm and collective voice completely changing the atmosphere, as expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you enjoying yourself? To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably to signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense. We have a delicate matter to discuss, one that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wish for a child of the Hakim to be involved. Of course, this is what with that expression on your face, Kadir. He quickly collects himself. Looks who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of Five Boroughs, Lady Ailing Sturbridge, walks up to our group in an outfit I would never imagine her in, pretending everything is par for the course. Prince Panhard, the Sheriff, the Harpy, the Ban Hakim, Primogen, are we still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shine even more brightly than usual, Ailing. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, I'm glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on the prince's behest, but I believe she's had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Well, this will do for now, but you're not off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Kadir's and the prince's voice are strained whenever they attempt humor. Their minds are obvious elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Arturo, on the other hand, seems calm. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is this about? Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarilla infamous spokesman approaches, pushes toward us in a wheelchair by his servant. Helene, everyone, I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone. Seeing as Payne can't communicate normally, his servant relays his word to us instead. His push is snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us? He gave me fair warning he might not make it tonight. I've messages him on the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time, I swear it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I insisted that this evening must last all week. So many esteemed guests, so many of them from out of town, each deserving at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, let's cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action, my prince. Arturo, my prince, everyone, let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat, we are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callahan, de facto leader of Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend in his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply explain it like that. Oh, sparing the virtue signaling, I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if we take care of Callahan or not, I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it. Unless someone wants to confess, it's now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarilla ruling body has nothing to do with it, and for all intents and purposes, his Anarch contender has more interest in removing him than we did. That's interesting. Interest is sure to maintain in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the Anarchs to their own device. As much as we'd like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, we offer to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. Do you realize those curs have no respect for our traditions? Yes? We do, Addison, but as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the word control opposition. Yes, for now, it's impossible to fully contain the Anarch's threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans for the city. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line. The purists grow angry and alienated. We already contacted the best possible person in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? That is, Ann ponders the question for a while, then wave his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. For other factions within that sorry excuse for a sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I've done my best to solve this situation as fast as possible. How so? Kadir is momentarily taken aback by Turu's question. I volunteer to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Kadir is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duty at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your penchant for working yourself to the bone is well known, appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but it is your perfectionism. But so is your perfectionist. If we do grant you your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Alasmai, but when the vulture, not when the vulture out in force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there is an obvious outlet for the pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebration will continue as planned, no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince. We must be in constant vigil for a few days. Alasmai's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemies surrounding us. The time of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch's leader is sure to point at us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violence action. I think it's be wise for us to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Aisling. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us, but they also can't think we have something to hide, which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensity. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official acting as an investigator of sorts. I implore you, Prince. Kadir. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibilities. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir looks at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does too. No, wait a second. He can't possibly me. Miss Julia, once again, your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permissions? Before I make up my mind, the sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Sowinski. Miss Julia Sowinski, right? I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. What's about... that's correct, yeah. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogene insisted that you are worthy of great privilege and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samira measured Arturo with suspicions. Yes? Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deeply in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, please, please don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. I'm sure that you, Alasma, have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission. Save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whatever I do and don't is not particularly important right now, is it? It's absolutely is. Panhard's backing of Arturo momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panhard, if Arturo's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't trust her with all the responsibility that I have if she wasn't. He exchanged glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are then, a recommendation from Banu Hakim Promijan and the sheriff. To tell you the truth, I was just throwing out ideas, but with this backing, I can't doubt the new Night Clan's representative will get the job done. I'm certain that each of us feels the same. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, an averted gaze there. It is as you say. I will watch the way she handled this situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Sowinsky, looks like you got your chance for a big break. Interesting. Just tell me what to do. Nobody asks what I think. I think I will be cocky and maybe do some conditions. Let's see if I know the political game good enough. Big break doesn't mean much by itself. All I see is a big responsibility being placed on my shoulders. What do I stand to gain here exactly? Even though I normally jump at the chance to be useful, I play it cool. All of a sudden, not only everyone acknowledges my existence, but believes I can handle solving a tense criminal case if something seems too good to be true. Let's not be vulgar now. You stand to improve your standing at the court. Yes, we can discuss the particulars based on your performance. Yeah, they don't plan on giving me shit. Figures. It's not like I can refuse, but this is something I need to take into account while taking care of this case. I need a bargain position if I want to get anything out of this. Yeah, I do it. Just point me in the right direction, tell me what to do. Excellent. That leaves us with only one matter, which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panhard signals everyone with their hand. The figure emerged from behind the corner. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you're in town. Addison looking healthier than ever. And what does Wise have to do with it? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. And as it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I'd be grateful if, just for once, you decided against throwing a tantrum at me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Aisling's face, but she's quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceedings in some way. It's half of what I heard about her from Mr. Vanderweyden is true. She should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific, always has to read between the lines with him, but it was mostly envy. Miss Weiss gracefully agreed to mediate between the Onyx representative and the La Sombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation, mitigating potential conflicts. That felt like a Freudian slip. La Sombra representative and not Camarilla representative? Yeah, someone who can be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour. You'd better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. If the situation is under control, I'll drive her and oversee the situation. Out of the question. You got your order, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool, the girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. But it's not as if the honors have a lot of love for you, alas my. You're too efficient in your duty for them to tolerate you. Better spare Miss Sovinsky, having them see you two together. Do you think my guidance of Yula will be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So do you have an objection to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze, but seems reassured. Wow, that was a stunning feeling, actually. Kadir trusting Catherine Weiss, that's pretty cool. Okay, none whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Waste no time as usual, I see. Having you at least try the aperitifs. Waiting is an old person's game, Helene. I still feel young. Remember if there's anything you need help with. Probably not, but I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so, we leave in a rush. Funny, considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. And actually I think that's a good place to end tonight's episode. And if you liked what you saw, trigger like below and comment if you have anything to interject or want to share with me. And thank you for watching.